Hey, what's up, y'all? It's your girl JRose. Welcome to the JRose Experience. We have an episode full of all the energy today. I sat with poets Hines and Jess Quel to tell the world that poetry is a form of art that deserves to be paid for. So y'all better put some respect on that poetry. And then we had the most unique, off-the-top segment in the history of the JRose Experience where we played yes, I said two games. All I can say is Charles did it. So stick around and enjoy the vibes. Keep growing. Welcome to the JRose Experience. I'm your host, JRose. I'm super excited about today's episode. I'm out here in Tampa just meeting amazing poets and creatives. Yo, Tampa is lit. Let me tell you guys, they got some talent out here. And I would love to introduce you to my first guest. He is a poet. He has traveled nationally to perform his poetry. He's published 2 books. And he's a co-host of Real Loud Shit Open Mic. I like that name. Please welcome my first guest, Charles Hines.
Thank you. Happy to be here. What's going on?
I'm so glad. You were like the surprise guest. I was like, oh, who is this? I like this. Let's go.
Hey, appreciate it. I love sneaking up on people.
So welcome.
Thank you.
I want to dig into this Real Loud Shit Open Mic.
Yeah.
First of all, what made you start hosting or become a co-host? Why did you end up doing that?
Yes, so I'm the co-host of Real Loud Shit Open Mic. It's connected to the Blunt Space Incorporated. It is a nonprofit organization, and I'm connected to me and a couple of friends. We started this nonprofit organization just kind of right at the height of COVID.
Wow.
And it's all about just arts, advocacy, and culture, and just kind of creating those spaces for marginalized voices to just be as authentic as possible. So Real Loud Shit is just one of the things we do just to kind of give people a space to be themselves.
Nice.
And just be as loud, as open, as real, and that's why it's called the blunt space. It's all about just being blunt, putting it on the table and not having to hide what you feel or who you are.
So what have you learned from co-hosting open mics?
Definitely to just be prepared for anything. And so it's 100% different when you're in charge and when you're making stuff happen outside of just being a consumer and going to stuff.
Yes.
And so it just kind of surprises you all the things you have to take into consideration, whether it's those small nuances that make things flow and more professional, or just creating a space that people do feel safe to be vulnerable, especially with what we do with poetry and our art. Lots of times these things are personal or people are still fresh in these experiences.
Yeah.
And so with the blunt space and with Real Out Shit, we do our best to kind of set a foundation where people feel like I can be as vulnerable as I want to be.
Yeah.
I can be as loud and crazy as I want to be.
And no judgment.
I know in this space, y'all will vibe with me. And there's going to be no judgment. There's going to be no hate.
So what type of host are you? What's your vibe as a host? What makes you stand out?
I really don't know. Nobody's ever told. I definitely try to just hype everybody up, especially at open mics. Like we all know, you get people who are on different levels. So
how you hype up the crowd?
Yeah, somebody strolls up, and you just gotta give everybody their time. I love interacting with not just my artists, but my audiences. So something I was raised to do, especially when I was a baby poet. I like to play
baby poet.
I like to play things like either or would you rather. Just ask the audience's questions, simple stuff like, okay, you want Skittles or you want Starburst? Because the open mic, as people forget, it's not just about the people that are performing, but we need the energy of people who are just watching. That helps the performances and the whole vibe go along. So I definitely do my best to make make sure that you in the back, like, reading the book, trying to hide, we see you too. And you just as much as this thing, like, you just as much a part of this as I am as the host. Like, 100%. Like, you hear whether you want to talk or not. Everybody's just in this space together.
Right. How do you prepare yourself before you go in and host an event?
So the only big ritual I do is, especially if we have lists, I go through and try to make sure I don't mess up people's names.
Oh,
like
yes.
I go through, I say it, I read it, get your names, get
do
like
you like
your tags
talk to
right.
them first and be like, how do I say this?
If I can,
because you have 75 letters in your name.
If I can, and it's been a little bit easier virtually right now. We're rocking virtual, so a lot of people who come to the open mic pre-sign up, so I have that time to connect with you. But
let me ask you about, because I'm doing virtual events also. How do you feel about virtual versus in person?
It's definitely good and bad. So of course I miss like being out in these streets and seeing people and hugging people and really having that energy. But I will say that the virtual experience has definitely helped myself as a poet. So I don't look like it, y'all. I'm so antisocial. I am very much the person that I'll go perform. I'll be better than all y'all, and then I'll leave and I won't say nothing.
He said I'll be better than all y'all.
And that's what I do. I'm not a mingler. I'm not a talk to strangers type people unless I have to be.
Yeah. So when you're hosting, you gotta break out of that.
Like you gotta break out of that, because then it's bigger than me. So I'm not just making sure that I feel okay. I have to make sure that my performers and my audience feels comfortable. But virtually, it's really given me an opportunity to connect and reach poets that I would have never reached. And so especially when we were in the height of the pandemic, I made it a thing to vibe with these open mics and these poets who weren't from around Tampa. I'm just like, oh, you in Jersey? Let me slide to your open mic and connect with you. Oh, you out in California? Let me hit you up, because we would only be able to see and connect with each other at festivals, the big competitions. Yeah. So I really took advantage of that solely for the purpose to make friends.
Nice. That's amazing. Now, I know that you have published 2 books.
Yes.
Okay. One is the eulogies one.
So that's not a book, it's a poem. So coming
out. Oh, that's the poem that was on that was featured on
Button Poetry.
Yes, on Button Poetry.
Yes. And so coming out eulogies, it's just a poem that I wrote in college a little while back about the massacre that happened at the Pulse nightclub out in Orlando.
Yes.
So I went to college at the University of Central Florida. And so Pulse is 20 minutes away from our college.
That was your chill spot.
It was just very, very close. And of course, being a member of the queer community, just being in the city and part of that community, it was just a very daunting incident for everybody.
Yeah.
And I felt that it was just important being part of that community, writing something that spoke towards that feeling. And I was just blessed enough for it to be featured on Button Poetry.
That's amazing.
And that was just a surprise, because they ain't tell me nothing. So, I performed the poem at a competition, I think a year and a half prior. And then I'm minding my business, I'm taking a day nap, and my friend messages me on Instagram. He's like, yo, congratulations for your poem on Button Poetry. And I'm like, what you talking about? What poem on Button Poetry? Just to turn over and see that they posted this performance from a year back. But to segue into the book, Coming Out Eulogies is one of the poems in my first poetry publication, Heart Feelings.
Yes.
And so that project, of course, is very special to me. It was my very first book.
That was your first one.
And
did you self-publish or did you?
Yes, I went right through Kindle Direct Publishing with Amazon.
What was that experience like?
It was easier than I thought, but I feel like I went direct publishing just to kind of test the waters, and I wanted to have as much control over the entire situation as I could. And it was one of those ones, I didn't give myself a deadline or just kind of something I expected. It was just, this was something I feel like I want to do and put on the table.
Yeah.
And just saw myself through the entire process.
So how did you feel when you finally held that book in your hand?
it didn't feel real until it was there.
Yeah.
So there were even days where I had physical copies and I just didn't tell anybody about it because I'm looking through the book going, did I mess something up? Does something
you were
look
like
right?
scared to like because you didn't want to be like, oh, they missed a period.
No, but yes. So I ordered a copy. I ordered one copy when they told me they like email you and it's like, yo, your book's already. I ordered one copy, went through, marked it up, changed it, sent it back, and then ordered more copies before I released it to the public just because it's like, hey, this is my first try and I gotta
and you wanna get it right. As right as you can.
100%,
right?
definitely.
So I have a fun question for you. I heard that you are into like obnoxious pop music.
Yes.
Yes. He sat right up. So what does that playlist sound like?
Okay, so it depends on.
What's like the most obnoxious song where I might want to like pull over and tell you to get out my car?
Ooh. So, all right. So I listen to a lot of Taylor Swift, y'all. I'm a Taylor stan. I stand by her. She's a genius writer. Lots of my writing has just been inspired by her pen. I'll fight you over any song. I got on a Leah shirt. I tried to be cool today, but listen to like lots of Taylor Swift, Olivia Rodrigo, the Driver's License Girl. She just released her album. That's been on loop. But anything like Shawn Mendes, Ed Sheeran.
Okay, I like Shawn Mendes. I
love the Jonas Brothers.
Okay, you
like
can
Miley
stay in the
Cyrus.
car. You can stay in the car. We good. All right, cool. I love that.
Hey, it's the vibe. If it's good, it's good.
So I know you brought some poetry with you to
100%.
share. Yes, you mind sharing that with us?
Definitely.
Yes. All right, we'll be right back with a performance from Charles Hines. Stay tuned. Whether it's tax season, the holidays, or whatever falls in between, you want to make sure that you're being smart with your money. So go visit my girl, Queen Candace, at the Queen Blueprint to learn how to gain your financial freedom. You could get a personalized debt payoff plan, a full financial overview, and learn to repair your relationship with money. Smarter money moves are waiting for you at www.thequeenblueprint.com or call 877-387-BLUE. Use code JRose20 for 20% off of all our financial services.
Mere mortals think themselves saviors, like Lucifer thought himself king of kings, applauding themselves on the bare minimum as if mama ain't raised us to be nice, as if stepping outside of your comfort zone wasn't vital for your own growth. You know, you're not a hero. When heterosexuality looks the queer community in the eye and tells us it's okay to exist. Our mouths do not water at common sense because to you it's breaking news, you're not a hero. When your white friend posts a 45-minute Facebook status on equality, screaming over his inner guilt, handing us keys to chains we broke hundreds of years ago, you ain't an advocate. You just want to invite to the cookout. Look. It don't make me feel better telling me what I already know. That I'm human too. That I have a right to happiness too, because the only people who don't seem to understand that is you. And look, I'm not trying to step on nobody's toes, but everybody got a gay best friend until it's time to stick up for their rights. Everybody wanna be black until it's time to be black. Y'all be having me weak with those. Yo, man, you know we gotta step up. Can't you see our queens are oppressed? Or I would love my son even if he were gay. Stating the obvious and calling it a movement, I get it. You're not a bigot, so you Batman. You got crime fighting on your resume because Black Lives Matter is on your Instagram story. You ain't a hero. You a photo op philanthropist. Don't nobody high-five you for breathing. You don't get a cookie for flushing the damn toilet. Acknowledging the issue is the least you could do. Because we've been here for years, fighting for the same as y'all, living off of back burner blessings just for you to roll over one morning and be like, you know what? Y'all deserve the same as us. It's funny how oppression only becomes obvious when the oppressor sees an opportunity for press, You're not a hero. You just want to get glory. You want to charge a fee for morality. You care more about saving face than saving lives. But how you gonna change the world when you can't see past your own front yard? My life ain't no afterthought. You can't trickle down affect my needs. My well-being shouldn't be left in the margins. You want to save somebody. Love without limitations. Can you care without a camera? You want to save somebody. Help move mountains you don't have to climb. Why won't you try studying the destinies you might never see? Shut the hell up and educate yourself. Oh, you want to save somebody. Put your work where your words are.
Welcome back to the JRose Experience. I'm your host, JRose. I'm here with my next guest for today. She is a writer, a poet, an international actress, self-proclaimed activist, because she's out here expressing narratives that come her way in every way, shape, or form through her performance art. So please welcome Tampa native Jessica.
Wow.
Well, I was gonna be like Jess Quel, Jessica, Brown Sugar. Yeah. You know, AKA. How are you, sweetheart?
I'm alive.
Amen to that, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes, grateful for that. I'm so happy that you were able to come on the show. I'm super excited to dig into a lot of the things that you do. You are doing amazing things out here in Tampa, and I heard a lot of good things about you. So yeah, they talking.
Oh, wow.
So I want to dig into your, poetry and activist life, right? So how does your poetry and your acting complement each other?
Storytelling is the main thing. Mm-hmm. Like, a lot of my poetry is very, very out there. So it can get super deep. It can get very like, dismantle the system, F the police, defund them. And then it'll switch up to like, heartbreak and love and emotions. But like the main thing is like, I keep a story in it because I know people will stay engaged if they know there's a plot and a character. And it's the same with acting. Like, acting is just a lot of like living truthfully in imaginary settings. So
right.
That's pretty much
so it. The path that took you to becoming an international actress, what was that experience like? Where did you go?
Scotland.
Oh,
food ain't all that.
Wow, I would have never guessed that.
Yeah,
I thought you were gonna be like, I went to France, but like Scotland. That's so cool.
Yeah, it was dope. So I went to FAMU. Shout out to the Rattlers.
Hey.
And we were like the first HBCU to like participate in the ICTF part of the Fringe Festival.
Yes.
So like, Scotland, Edinburgh is huge, the Royal Mile, all the theaters embedded in that kind of culture. And it was different. I'm just going to say that. The whole process, learning kind of like what words to not say, and just, it was dope. It was dope.
Did you get to connect with other actors out there? Was it a whole production that you did out there?
Yeah.
So was it like a movie or a theater?
It was a play. So it was Ida B. Wells' From the Mississippi Delta.
Wow.
Which is drenched in like Southern Black narrative. So you take that from America and you're going to Scotland.
But how did that end up in Scotland?
Yeah. We do a lot of like August Wilson, a lot of Ida B. Wells, Dominic Morceau, like blackety black playwrights at FAMU.
Blackety black.
Double black. So like we try to reach into that repertoire a lot, and we were like, all right, let's do some Ida B. Wells, From the Mississippi Delta. Let's show Southern narrative in like a different light, because I feel like it can be hella stereotypical. And taking that over there it got a good response. We thought the people would think we were doing caricature work, but it turned out to be well received. So
wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really dope that it was well received, especially in another country. And having the opportunity to act at that capacity, what other opportunities did that take you? Where else did that lead you?
Adding it to my resume. Amen. So like, I'm still booking. The hustling doesn't stop.
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
That's why you're here, sis, because it hasn't stopped.
Listen, you don't say no. You say yes to everything.
Yeah.
Not everything. But, I'm just adding to my resume, using that on my grounds of, like, my teaching artistry work. So I included that in a lot of pitches to get a job. And just using it whenever I can. Because I guess folks see Scotland and they're like, oh, she knows what she's talking about. And
right.
Yeah.
And you're also into music, right?
Yeah.
How'd you get into that? What came first? The poetry, then the acting, and now the music?
The music, music was what I first found, actually. But I grew up in, like, the church.
Yeah.
So it was very choir, very,
Yeah, I find that a really common thing from singers. Especially singers that are, like, of color. Like, most of us are like, I started in church.
Yeah.
That's really what... That's really where it begins for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's very like, Beulah Baptist chorus junk. And I don't know, like I grew up in it and then I kind of strayed away from it. And it's like, all right, let me try something else. I need a switch up. And
but what did that experience give you some type of foundation for what you're doing now?
It did. It told me how to sing, and that old folks will let you know if you can't sing. So it toughened your skin up a little bit. And then
it's rough out there.
The people will tell you if they're not feeling it, but I appreciate that. And then in college, I really delved like back into it through Theta Nu, the SAI organization. So that's the musical part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some projects that you have coming up that you're working on?
I'm working on a single. I haven't told people yet because they expecting it to be something it's not. So I just.
Are they expecting you, or are you projecting what you are doubting in yourself onto others? Don't be putting your self-doubt onto me, because I'm expecting some fire.
Yeah, you kind of went in your bag with that one. You're right. You're right. I think I'm projecting a little
Sorry,
bit.
I get a little aggressive.
It's true, though. I think I'm just projecting because folks see me and they think, like, oh, it's going to be some, like, Erykah Badu earthy. So then if I want to branch out and do something, like, wild.
Like Avril Lavigne, rocker stuff.
Yeah, or, like, just something that you can rock to. And,
something
like,
that Charles would pump in his car,
very,
right?
Yeah. Very, like, Taylor Swift. Like, let me be that.
But is that something that you're afraid of, or are you embracing that and just saying, fuck that, this is going to be my sound? Are you scared?
I'm excited.
Okay, excited is good.
It's good. It's borderline nervous.
Scared is good too. That means you care.
Exactly. So like the butterflies,
So what's the single, what's the title?
You want to get all my secrets right now.
All right, you don't have to tell me. Okay, it's a secret. I mean, I got a little bit. Sorry,
really
guys. I tried my best. But I got a little bit of scoop.
A little bit. It's a play on Brown Sugar, the song.
Ooh. So, and you are singing and doing poetry on it, or
trying to? Yeah.
Cause like some flowetry shit.
Okay, a little bit, like a little say yes, a little. I might have a lock hanging on the front of my head.
Just one.
Just one. Cause I want you to like. I like that like sultry, sexy, like. Yeah. So we'll see. I don't know.
Does your family do they hear your music? Do they hear that? Like, are they still like, are they very religious and?
Oh, child, no. They hear it on accident. Like, I don't sing in front of people.
On accident.
So it's like if you walk past the room and you happen to catch it, God bless you. But that's, I ain't singing for everybody. No.
Oh, man. If I could sing, my whole family would hate me. I would never talk. I would just be like, ooh.
Right, just singing everything.
Eat your noodles.
Right, yeah, honestly, showing out. Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing that. So I have a fun question for you.
Okay.
If you could collab on a project with anybody, it could be poetry, music, or acting.
Ooh, stop.
Who would you want to collaborate with?
Okay. Dead or alive?
Ooh. Both. Either one.
Stop. We can dig them up?
Yeah, you can dig them up.
Okay. Musically, Nina Simone. Yeah. Very like that earthy yodeling type of jazz. I like that because
I love Nina Simone.
She's so dope.
Yes.
Her musically, and then actor. Okay, and then for acting, I would say Joaquin Phoenix. Joaquin
Phoenix.
Yeah, very like serial killer. Very, we plotting because that's the fun of it.
She just wants to go dark. I'm here for it though. Okay. What about poetry wise? Who would you want to collaborate with?
I want somebody roughish, Nikki Giovanni.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
We could do a little.
Nikki, find Jess. Let's do this.
And let's collab.
Yes. Amazing. I know you brought some poetry with you.
Stop. Yes, I did.
Ooh, and you're going to share it with us, right?
I'm going to share a little bit.
Amazing. All right, we'll be right back with a performance from Jess Quel. I'm so excited I got both my kids' appointments to get their hair done at Shining Star Kids Salon in Brooklyn, New York. The best part is, I get to pick up a couple of my favorite natural hair products like their Fearless Edge Control, or their Fearless Hair Oil. And these are just some of my favorite products to style my hair with. Head over to ShiningstarKidsSalon.com to order from their line of natural products the whole family can enjoy. Or make an appointment if you're in town. Use code JRose20 at checkout for 20% off your online purchase. Keep growing.
Black women are trees, growing up and out, roots grounded, well-rounded. We are sycamores, more than mere bushes or shrubs. Chestnut, cut from the hips of the hills, willow, oaks, and elm, strong with skin. Black women are bold. Lip to hip, we expand whether men understand it or not. Wide as horizons, varying like sunsets, we are skyline fine, divine as wine and sweet as the sap that trickles from our scalp. Maple, dancing in slow motion. Palm, leaning over oceans. Pine, redefined with scriptures in our bloodlines. And sister nature doesn't make mistakes. God didn't make earth without some earthquakes, so when we walk, the ground shakes. We use our walks to balance the gravel that we travel. Our feet don't take breaks. We walk with a twang. The way our hips hop like stereo speakers, we love it when our body language is beatbox, jukebox, juke joint. Add a little hustle to the shuffle, let our toes point. We walk as if Nina Simone is playing the pads of our feet like piano keys. We let the horns in our shoes play the blues as we let swing songs play off our backs, arch like brass instruments, but still innocent. We play that Motown in the ground when we make our strides. Let our heels take a break and let our souls go for a ride. Call it Soul Train when we walk this way. Varying skin tones from young lady to full-grown. Black women are trees, from our trunk to our leaves, from our individuality to our strong mentality, not moved by the wind's whisper or a man's whistle. And life, we see life as a blessing. And all the knowledge that we have learned as a necessity, that's why we wear our age rings like priceless accessories. We are more than what we choose to reveal above the surface. Tucking our roots and their essential presence deep beneath the dirt, on purpose. Because we know that if we show more than the stars to small minds and closed hearts, they would fear the galaxy instead of adore it. Come up with their own existential theories about how it was created instead of explore it. So we only reveal to you what you are prepared to see, because we were put on this earth to create, not intimidate. But no matter how much good we try to exhale oxygen, you still remind us of the bad we had to inhale, carbon dioxide. You breathe us, but you still strip us of our layers, claim that we are one-dimensional when we ain't even expendable. Royal and regal, we carry it in our breasts, in our brains. Like queens making home in the rainforest, we reign, standing tall above the fields. We could never be plains. We exude light. Black women are trees. Yeah, down to earth, but very free.
The Rose Garden Events is an arts and entertainment agency that cultivates creative growth. By curating open mics, talk shows, pop-ups, and retreats, we provide a platform for aspiring poets, musicians, visual artists, entrepreneurs, and more. We're excited to announce our new social media management and brand coaching services. That's right, you can now hand over the social media wheel, or we can guide you as you do it on your own. This is the one-stop shop where creativity is always blooming. For more info, visit us online at therosegardenevents.com. You can also find us on all social media platforms at The Rose Garden Events. Keep growing.
This segment is brought to you by Gent and Scholar. All right, welcome back. This is the JRose Experience, and I am your host, JRose. I have both my guests back here on set with me. We're going to break it down in some little group discussion time, and then, of course, we're going to have a little fun a little bit more down the line. But right now, we're going to talk about poetry, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about what does the world need to know about poetry, okay? In your opinion, what do you think what are some of the misconceptions about poetry that you see?
You want to start? You want to
They did the at the same time.
I'm gonna say because I can talk all day.
Yeah. Okay. That, first of all, there's no set way of delivering it. And I think that because we found a way of doing it, like a technique and a style that we notice gets a lot of attention, it's become so ubiquitous that it feels like it's a show instead of you coming to like hear what I got to say, hear my story. So I think that's the first thing is there's not one style. Like it's not the and then I.
Oh my God, I get that all the time.
People really think like and I guess I love that she just kind of makes that point because that's what people think we do. People think it's Goofy movie and just a
Goofy movie.
Yes, it's just a quiet snap, and it's. Sometimes it's that, but if it's that, then you need to go somewhere else. Poetry is very much about the individual, and I can only speak for myself as a poet, but everything I perform is very close to me and very much mine. And me at my 100% isn't going to be her at 100%.
Yeah, that's
it's not all going to look or feel the same. It shouldn't all look or feel the same. And poets, like, I'm going to speak to poets, but also the world, we have to allow that room for poetry to be as vast as it is because humanity is as vast as it is.
Yeah.
Like, definitely.
It should be trauma porn.
Like, Charles is out here preaching.
Oh, 100%. So... And so something that, of course, that I believe in, but I know many people agree. So I write what I feel. Yeah. And so sometimes like what I feel is that trauma or what's frustrating me or what's important. And you always want to hone in on what people need to hear or whatever, but there are days.
Want to read the room.
Yeah. But there are days where I don't want to be sad, and I want to write about something that makes me feel good.
I want to be angry.
Or
like I want to be mad.
And sometimes you need to cuss somebody out in an artistic way that makes you look educated, but also gets the point across.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's very hard, especially in the performance world when you're dealing with audiences and when you're kind of at the mercy of what people want to see because
that
you
pressure.
do get boxed in.
Yeah, you do.
And sometimes it can feel limiting as an artist, just like, I want to write about what I care about, but I also want my audience to
connect
feel
with
me and connect with me.
So why do you think poetry isn't as mainstream as something like hip hop?
I think poetry is a layer of hip hop.
Yeah.
And it's underrated because there really isn't, there's a cadence to it, there's a rhythm to it, but because it's not something you can sing along with and learn the words to, you kind of tune out sometimes. Like if you're not really in a headspace to check up and actually listen to what someone has to say, it's easy for you to kind of just get lost. And I think it's not something you can, how do I, like the poetry community, depending on where you at, I feel like we keep it very real with each other. So people can tell we're coming up in the space fronting and you're being very phony and it's very like, I know I'm the ish, so you know, y'all know why I'm here. I get paid the big bucks to be the spotlight poet. Yeah. And I think because a lot of us don't like to feed into that energy for real, and like poetry slams and jams, it's kind of hard to like push that as a profitable art form sometimes. I don't know if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying?
I know, but I understand it because I guess like we live it. And so like I'm gonna speak to everybody, but I'm speaking to poets too, like specifically. Poetry is important. Like we have to write and present our craft like it's important because it's important and it's lucrative. And so I'm gonna be honest, lots of poets get discouraged. I even get discouraged as a poet because the world looks at our craft as
like the stepchild
like it's not lucrative, like you can't make a lot of money doing it.
No.
Like we don't bring things to the table, and it's discouraging when poets really want to pour into their community and run after their craft.
Facts.
And we're living off of $50 features once a month, things like that.
Yeah.
But like Jessica said, it's crazy how connected poetry is to many other mainstream crafts.
Yeah.
So poetry goes hand in hand with music.
Yes.
Poetry goes hand in hand with acting and theatrics and art and things like. But for some reason, we do get stepchild, and I can't blame it on one person, one side.
Yeah,
I do definitely credit it to how poetry is kind of presented to the world. So again,
by the poets, like we accept it. We accept the low paying features. We accept the come and do this for exposure.
Yeah,
and we don't set that bar as to like, no, my poetry is fire. And just like you would pay a DJ $300 to come DJ an event, like you should be able to pay me something that's more than like $10 or I gotta sell tickets
100%.
for to make money.
But like I feel like we don't present poetry as an accessible craft for the people. So I feel like in a way we kind of scare our audiences to think that to come to a poetry show or to enjoy a poetry event, you have to be a writer or you have to be a poet. Yeah. So I know I don't have to be a rapper to enjoy hip hop or to get what I need from music. Right. Like whether I'm a musician.
People assume that like I gotta be a poet to go to open mic and then actually enjoy it.
No, 100%. And so there is an accessibility of other art forms that I feel like poetry hasn't been given. So I'm gonna listen to music because I like music, whether I'm a musician or not. I'm gonna watch a movie because I want to watch a movie. I don't have to be an actor
or a director
or a film critic. And I feel like poetry, the way it's presented, it's kind of like this.
This is just for poets.
Yeah,
because only you guys get this.
I feel like there's kind of like this weird elitism to the interest of to an interest in poetry or just the craft of writing in general that prevents people from even wanting to welcome the interest,
whether be open to it.
Whether you're a scholar and you're reading a million books or not. And
I have a question. So if you had somebody that was coming to see you at an open mic, right, for the first time, they've never been to any type of poetry event, what is something that you would tell them so they can be prepared for what they're going to experience at the event?
For our poetry specifically?
Yeah, for just like, hey, you're featuring at an open mic.
Okay.
And you have a friend who's never been to a poetry event. Okay. And they're like, what should I expect? What would you tell them?
Be ready to listen. Don't come sleepy. Don't come like borderline tipsy, being honest, because then everything's just gonna sound the same. It's gonna sound like droning. You know? And then honestly just come with like a spirit of, this is another element of hip hop. So you don't have to be like uptight. Yes, it's a form of literature, but it's not one that has to be, like you said, elitist. Yeah. And just be ready to get your spirit fed. And listen, bring keys to shake. Stomp your feet. Be able to snap, make noise. Because we also feel like, I can't make noise. I can't snap. You gotta hype me up. Throw a chair at me if I'm saying something you dig.
You like what you heard. Snap
100%.
What would you tell them, like, what to expect?
Just definitely, I guess, like, prepare your mind just for the... Just prepare your mind for the vastness of it. So, and just treat it how you would treat any other show. Just any other craft. So I'm like, when you listen to music, okay, so I know that underground hip hop sounds different than trap hip hop sounds different than the radio sounds different than the 80s. And so expect that from a poetry show. So you're going to get those intellectual poets who got the wordplay all over the place.
Or the one that bitches ain't shit
poet. Exactly. You're going to get the erotic poet. You're going to get the funny poet. So be ready. Don't expect. Whatever you expected, don't expect it. Whatever you expected, don't expect it. Like, for real.
Don't come in a beret. Don't come with a black turtleneck. it's not that.
Because it's not that at all.
It's not.
Like allow yourself the space for the vastness, and then allow.
Yeah. I can't get over it. She said, "Don't come with a
Miranda long cigar."
Like I'm so ready to be.
I'm so ready for your show.
Yeah,
with a fucking poet hat. Like
it's a lot.
Yeah. Like, since you're doing too much, just come and snap your fingers.
Yeah,
100%. And I just tell just come with an open mind. Like understand that you will get every person's gonna be different energy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question?
Yeah.
Okay. He's like, yeah. I'm talking to my director. Yes. But Charles said yes, so fuck what you said.
Hey, I ain't got no problem.
Listen, I'm ready.
So what is something that you truly love and value about poetry?
Okay. One thing that I feel like poets work really hard on, and that we very much try to focus on just us as people. And that's just in every situation, no matter how big or small the event is, no matter if there's money on the line or notoriety, we do our best to just kind of lead with the craft and the love of expression first.
Right.
And then let everything else come. It's called the poetry community for a reason, because it's built up of people who are just people and want to be heard and want to be loved. Yeah. And that's probably the most beautiful thing about what I do and why I keep coming back.
How about you? What's your favorite part and most inspiring thing about poetry for you?
That I don't get stuck. I dig that. You know, it's ever changing. Like there's no, like I said, I don't get stuck in having to sound like this, and then like you being a.
She does the robot too. It's like
it's the choreo. It exhausts me. I don't know, but like just, and especially as like a Black woman, being able to be vulnerable in my piece and know that like I'm still safe. Yeah. Because sometimes you get free in some other art forms or just in other conversations, and you risk like being triggered again, being attacked,
or being looked at as like, oh, here comes the angry Black woman.
Here comes the angry, here comes the sad Black card. Yeah, it's real. Yeah, you know, but just not getting stuck in it. Yeah, I value that.
I love that. Awesome. So you guys want to play a game?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, it's time for Off the Top, our random game segment. We get to select a game. Sometimes we create something together. Sometimes we just play something fun. But either way, it's always a good time and it's a vibe. So, Charles, if you please do the honors and select a card. Like peeking. Okay. What's it say?
It says 6 degrees of separation.
Yes! Okay. 6 degrees of separation. I actually revamped how we're playing. We played a little bit different in the previous seasons. This time we're playing kind of like the way you're supposed to play it. So we'll be right back so we can start making some connections.
Okay, let's go.
Stay tuned.
Have reports of a 1054, multiple dead bodies, suspect still armed.
They told me they loved me, but they didn't care.
His anger is out of control.
I've been wanting to do that for so long.
Wouldn't you want to be there for him?
Susan! It was all a lie. It was all a show.
His son, Terrence, has been diagnosed with clinical depression. Is everything all right?
Yeah. I made sure I never work again for her.
I'll show them how it feels.
Don't make this about me.
Are you trying to say that my son's crazy?
Terry may go through erotic behaviors, schizophrenia.
Get away from me!
I'll show them how it hurts.
I'm hurting too.
Bro, hurry up!
Don't call me names, bitch.
What's up, fellas?
Hello, mommy. How you doing?
I am allowed to make mistakes. We hurt together.
This segment is brought to you by the Rose Garden Events.
All right, and we are back. We are going to play 6 Degrees of Separation. Okay. We're playing it kind of the right way instead of like the JRose remix because, you know, I don't conform. But this is going to be fun. So the way we're going to play is I'm going to show you 2 people, and you got to find how they're connected by 6 steps or less. Okay. Got it? Mm-hmm. I will give you some hints. You're each entitled to 1 hint per card. Okay. All right? Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So, 6 Degrees of Separation. Can you find a connection between Lil Nas X and The Cosby Show?
I think.
She said shoulder pads.
I think so. So, oh my God. So Lil Nas X, that #1 hit song he had was Old Town Road with Billy Ray Cyrus. Billy Ray Cyrus was on Disney Channel with Miley Cyrus, his daughter, and who else was on Disney Channel? Raven Simone, and Raven Simone played Olivia in The Cosby Show.
Yo!
I'm gonna leave. Wow.
Yo.
I can't believe I just did that. I'm sorry. I'm
so sorry. Our producer behind the camera is shocked right now. Yo, how did you do this so fast?
I didn't, like, I don't even know. When I tell you, I don't know how I pulled that off. Y'all.
Dang.
I'm weak.
So he doesn't
she
get
even
his.
In the picture.
I'll get his hint. Cause she's good. I'm still spinning. Okay.
Yo, Jess sat up and was like, okay, Lil Nas X.
Shoulder pads.
And Charles, she said shoulder pads. And Charles is like,
yeah. So back in and da.
Cosby Show.
Wow.
That was great.
That was great. Charles. You did that.
Okay, hey.
All right. Damn, I wasn't ready for this. I was not ready. All right.
Okay, let me get
Jess.
We playing for real.
Jess, we playing for real.
Yeah.
We didn't come here we came here to play but not play.
Right.
All right. 6 Degrees of Separation. Can you connect?
You already.
Yes. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. Let me shut
Charles
up.
almost jumped out of.
Let me shut up.
Oh.
Come on,
I'm
Jess.
so nervous. Okay.
You got this.
Jay-Z.
It's a hard knock. Okay, so Hard Knock Life was a song by Jay-Z.
Yes,
Charles.
One got it.
One of many, Jess.
Yeah, okay. Hard Knock Life.
No, okay. I'll give you a hint. You want a hint?
Don't let him cover your ears.
I'm gonna say I already know, but
You probably
okay.
do.
Who is Jay-Z married to?
Beyonce.
Okay, now.
Oh, that was gonna help me.
Yeah, that's supposed to
you
help
got this.
you.
You got this thing.
Okay, so Beyonce.
Oh my God.
She's looking at Charles. Do you have the next step? What's the next step?
Yeah. Beyonce was in a movie.
The Fighting Temptations?
No, she was in another movie.
Obsession.
No, another musical.
Lion King.
Yes! That's the step. Oh, wait, where are you going?
No, she was in another musical way before that, early in her career. Listen.
Oh, Carmen Jones.
Dream
Girls.
Yes, with
Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
That wasn't even
Jimmy Early.
Wow.
That wasn't even the route I took. So he got it like.
Oh, you're good.
So the way I figured, the way I made it was like Jay-Z is married to Beyonce. Mm-hmm. She was the voice of Nala on The Lion King. James Earl Jones is Mufasa. Mm-hmm. He was in Coming to America. With Eddie Murphy. But I'm old.
I looked at that. I was like, oh, Beyonce was in
JRose.
Yo, he connected it immediately.
Dang.
Damn.
Wow.
Charles, you are the 6 Degrees of Separation champion.
Yeah.
I think you should retire this game because nobody else is going to get it that fast.
I was nervous.
He said I was nervous.
I thought y'all was going to pull somebody I didn't know.
No.
Damn.
I was like, Eddie. I was thinking about Donkey. I don't know why. Or Shrek.
I thought it was going to take them.
I was like, we can make up another one.
He said two more.
We can combine pictures from the other.
I said, no, fucking Charles.
Charles took the fun out of it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so since Charles is the speed racer champion of 6 degrees of separation, we're going to play a quick round of culture tags. Are you guys ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. This is something somebody says when a guy does a great performance. It's something like an old black man was saying while he's clapping his hands.
That boy good.
Yes!
For real?
Let's go.
Yes.
Give me my point.
A Coming to America reference.
Yeah. Yes, like Coming to America.
Wow.
Yes.
I'm mad I missed that. I'm so
Okay. This is a something that's on TV. You referred. People sometimes say that I'm like the poetry version of this person because I interview poets and
the Oprah Winfrey Show?
Yes.
Oh,
for real?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when you got beef with a family member and another family member gives you advice as to why you shouldn't have beef with a family member.
Oh, I was like, do you know? Yeah.
Charles is a savant, okay?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, blood is thicker than water.
Oh. Nah, wait a minute. Give us a line. Let me get one of yours.
Okay. So when you do, when somebody does you dirty and then something happens to them and you're like, well.
Oh, Ray! Oh my God. Okay, hold on.
Come on, Jess. You got this, Jess. When somebody does you dirty and then something happens to them, somebody does them dirty and you're like,
God don't like ugly.
Yes!
You know, okay. Give him a problem.
With the neck roll.
Yeah.
God. Okay.
Was that the last one? One more? Okay. Yo, you guys are so funny. All right. So when someone gives you something, but you're like, when you give something to someone and they're like ungrateful about it, and you're like, oh well, basically you get what you get because
beggars can't be choosers.
Yes.
Okay.
Jess.
Listen.
Jess has redeemed herself.
Finally.
In the off the top world.
Thank you. I want to thank my old soul.
She knew what the old black man said. That boy.
I was like,
who's TBG? Yeah.
That was fun. Well, we have some geniuses up in here. Let me tell you, you guys are amazing. Before we say goodbye to the audience, I have to ask you a question that I ask every single guest that comes on the show. It's because I believe that creative people are superhumans. We do amazing things that a lot of people can't even fathom to do, right? So you as a creative, what is your superpower?
I wish I had a couple of days to send this question.
Oh, may I?
Absolutely. Go ahead. Please.
I guess shape-shifting and empathy. Yeah. So being able to like literally shape-shift into someone and be empathetic without like appropriating.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
I feel like my superpower is the ability to direct and build from my emotions.
Charles, out here with the deep shit. Okay. I like that. Amazing. Well, I'm really happy that you guys were able to come onto the show and kick it with me. I appreciate it.
This was
Before we say goodbye to the audience, please let them know where they can find you.
Oh, go ahead. You might have a short list.
Okay, so I'm basic, so I only have an Instagram. You can find me on Instagram at CharlesHines401. I also do have a website called The Charles Hines because Charles Hines was taken already. So it's thecharleshines.com. You can find everything that I'm doing there, whether it's events. I have 2 books out. You can find information about that there. Charles Hines 401 on social media and thecharleshines.com.
Amazing.
Yes. Jess Quel, JESS.QUEL on Instagram. From there, you'll be linked to my book, Orange Painted Red, on Amazon Kindle. You can hit up Projects by JRose, is my art portfolio, and then Brown Sugar Said It, because your girl's a podcaster.
There you go.
I'm trying, child.
Make sure that you follow, that you subscribe, that you engage with these amazing poets. They are creatives. They are multifaceted. They are here doing the damn thing. And we need your support, so show the love. Make sure you follow. And of course, follow and subscribe to us on YouTube at the Rose Garden Events and on Facebook. If you are on Instagram, you can follow us at JRose Experience. And you can follow me as your host, JRose, and my Crumble Thoughts. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Keep growing.